It's no secret that the richest people on earth, I mean like mega rich, like nasty, stinking rich, are usually tech people. You usually have to own a tech company of some sort for you to have that sort of crazy money. Either be an Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, something like that. But you don't need to own a tech company for you to be rich. Because being rich is not about having the most money on the world, no. It's about satisfaction, contentment, and making a change and an impact in the world. And yes, through farming, you can certainly do that. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the tips, the important things you need to know and the things that you need to do in order for you to become a millionaire through farming. I know you're probably thinking, how do you qualify to talk about being a millionaire? Are you a millionaire? Do you deserve to tell me about how you can become a millionaire through farming? Well, I do believe I qualify. Not because I'm a millionaire, of course, currently I'm not a millionaire, but I see myself on the way there through farming. You see, I didn't start out as a farmer. Actually, my history is quite far away from being a farmer. I grew up in the city. I studied and I was practicing medicine. I personally have a medical history. And before that, I had no passion, I had no interest, I had no desire to do farming at all. It was not something that my life was cut out for. I didn't think about it at all. But hey, just 3 years ago, that should have been March 2019, I started building a chicken house. I started building the chicken house in January 2019, and in March 2019, I filled it up with 800 birds. Now, 800 birds might look like small to one person and big to someone else, but that's relatively a small number. You know, when I look at multinational companies or huge companies that own poultry farms in the world, some of them have millions of birds, you know, 8 million birds produced a year, some more than that. I had 800. That's such a small number. And that was on my dad's farm, on a small piece of land. And here we go, just 3 years later, and hey, on that farm, I have at least 2,000 birds. And currently, I do have a huge farm with huge numbers of animals. The numbers are crazy. Look at it. Over 160 heads of cattle, 800 heads of goats and sheep, at least 30,000 chickens on the farm. Don't tell me that's not someone on the way to becoming a millionaire. So come on, if your goal and desire is to become rich, a millionaire through farming, stick around and I'll take you through the points in this video. Number 1, you've got to have a vision. Super important. Without a vision, trust me, you're going to crumble. You're going to make mistakes that you certainly wouldn't need to make. The idea of a vision is that it directs you. It helps you in decision making. It helps you know where you want to go, and it helps you avoid particular things. I'll use Farm Up as an example. So you guys all have come to get acclimatized with the whole idea of Farm Up. I do keep animals and it's a farm. And despite the fact that you all associate it with poultry, it's certain that you know that I don't only deal in poultry. We have other animals on the farm. We have cattle, we have goats and sheep, we have bees. We grow crops on the farm. And that was intentional. It wasn't a mistake. You see, while I started Farm Up, I was doing poultry. At that point, I had chickens, the 800 that I was telling you guys about. I started the idea of Farm Up in 2020. And at that time, like I've said, it was only chickens that I was doing. But I knew what the goal is in the future. That's why you see, as I made the logo, I didn't put a chicken on there. It wasn't just a chicken. It has a green leaf, which really signifies nature and natural stuff. And that was the whole goal. I knew that in the future, in a few years' time, I'm going to go into something that's not just chickens. You know, I could be doing crops. As my eyes are opened, I could be doing insects like bees. So I was very particular about doing it because I had a vision. The vision directed my decision making. So having a vision is very important. It will make expansion way easier for you in the future. It will prevent you from doing double work. Because imagine I had called the company maybe Farm Chickens. A few years later, I want to switch to goats, and then I do what? Farm Goats or something like that. It would be something completely different, something new, something I've changed. And then I can't ride on the glory of Farm Up, for example, if I had created a Farm Up instead. Right now, I can certainly ride on the glory of Farm Up. If I came up with a coffee something, I could still call it Farm Up because Farm Up has become something nice. Courtesy of you guys, by the way, just clap for yourself. By the way, I'm taking a walk around the farm. You know, we started having rains recently, and I want to see how the rains are affecting us. Fortunately enough, currently the rains are not too much, but they're certainly going to come and flood this entire area. Last time we planted maize on this area and it all got flooded. So we decided not to plant any maize around here. So it doesn't really matter. This time whether it floods or not, we're ready for the rain. We planted the maize at the top of the hill. Number 2, be interested in what you are doing. Yeah. When you make up your mind and you decide that you want to do farming, you want to become a farmer, and you're focused that you want to become rich through farming, come on, you've got to pick interest. You've got to be interested. Being interested doesn't mean you've got to have this undying love. No. Like I said, be interested. Put some focus and attention on what you're doing. I know people who start farms and then they'll get people to run them, you know. The guy will start his own farm, he will buy a few acres of land, and then he will fill it up with animals, maybe chickens or cattle, and then he will abandon it, you know. He won't have an idea, for example, about what's really necessary for feeds. For example, what kind of house is necessary for a chicken house. He won't know that probably maize is the most abundantly needed ingredient in terms of feed. So the guys running the farm will have the ability to play around with him in whatever way that they want. And of course, the farm is meant to fail. But if you do have some interest, if you do have an idea about what it feels like, what it means to run the farm, then of course you're going to make it big, because most likely you're going to be involved in the decision making of the things that do run the farm. I'm not trying to say that you need to be a nerd and be present 100% of the time. Of course, that's not possible. Even I am not present 100% of the time. I've got other things to do. The farm can't be your prison. No. That would also be very bad if you made the farm your prison. But you've got to be available in some form, you know. You don't disappear for a whole month and come back and then you're like, hey, what's going on? What has happened here? No. You need to be interested, you need to be involved, and when you're involved, trust me, things will turn out for the better. Number 3, don't get left behind. Come on, don't get left behind. Use technology. The one thing that's been very, very notorious with farmers is that they completely forget about technology. Their trucks are the oldest trucks, or their cars are the oldest cars. That's quite advantageous though on the farm, because that means if it breaks down, it's quite easy to repair. You can do it right on the farm. Farmers usually have like the worst phones. They're not interested in finding out what's happening in the world. They have no idea what Facebook is. They have no idea what Instagram or YouTube is, or any of these things. And when that happens, you're going to be left behind, because we do know that we're not just moving towards the internet. The internet is already happening. Actually, we're even probably going to move on to another wave. I don't know what's going to happen. So you've got to make utilization of the internet. Just like I am, you know, I started my farm certainly in a small village very far away in the east of Uganda. All of you don't know that place. Well, not all of you, most of you don't know about my village. You have no idea where it is. And I can assure you that in the grand scheme of things, my farm, that farm, is one of the smallest that there is. 800 birds. I can imagine how many bigger farms are there, even in Uganda, you know, or outside the country, in other bigger countries, lots and lots of farms. But I can assure you that very few farms are more known to people than that farm. Why? Because of technology. Something like YouTube, something like Facebook, something like Instagram. By the way, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, go and follow me on Instagram. The Instagram handle is at Farm Up Group. You know, I update there occasionally so you can see what's happening on the farm in real time. So come on, just go and follow me. With the internet, you'll be able to sell things to anyone, everywhere in the world. You're not limited to the market where you are. It makes your growth quicker. It makes your growth way, way, way quicker. How could I have access, let's say 200,000 people? You know, the channel has what? 220,000 subscribers right now. How could I have access to 220,000 people as quickly as this? I'll just put out a video like this and lots of people are watching it. 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, a million people watching the video. So come on, the power of the internet is too big and too good to be ignored. Don't ignore it. Utilize it. If you do it well, you're going to make it really big. Number 4, you've got to treat the farm like a business and not a hobby. You guys all do know what a hobby is, right? It's something that you do in your leisure time, you know. You love playing video games, so you get out your video game when you feel like, not when you feel like. Or like me, who loves to play the guitar. You know, I'll get out my guitar and play music when I feel like. When I don't feel like, I'll just throw it down, you know. I'll probably be playing a song and then for some reason I'm not in the mood. I'm like, to hell with this guitar, I just put it down. No, you can't do that with your farm if you really, really want to get big. You've got to treat it like a business. You've got to know your numbers. You've got to know your figures off your head, you know. You've got to understand, how much do I expect to make at the end of the year or at the end of the month? How many people am I looking at selling to? Where am I going to be getting everything? Where am I going to be getting the feed? Where am I going to be getting the grass if it's animals? Who am I going to be selling to? You've got to get these things off your head, because if you don't, then you're doomed, of course. If you don't do any calculations, you don't know where you're getting your money from, you don't know how much you're putting in, how will it grow? How will it grow, honestly? How will you make the right decisions to ensure that the business grows and it becomes a millionaire business? I personally know friends who have farms and they have no idea how much money they put into the business last month. Completely no idea. Can you imagine? Yeah, you just get money from your salary or from somewhere and you just keep putting it into the farm and you're hoping to get back money. Then you'll go and sell things tomorrow and you'll go and spend it. You don't know how much money you're getting in, you don't know how much money you're getting out. Come on, you've got to do better than that. When you come to hiring people, make sure that you hire the right people. You know, you won't just hire someone because they are your sister or because they are your husband. Is the person qualified enough? Do you think they'll do a proper job in handling the business for you? A business never gambles, right? All the risks are usually calculated. Recently, I was talking to someone and then she wanted to do farming. She wanted to do layers, commercial layer farming on a huge scale, but then she wanted to feed the birds black soldier flies, and she was 100% committed to doing it. You know, she wanted to start getting the black soldier flies, and I was telling her, hey, have you done your research? Have you seen farmers doing this? Do you know what it involves to do black soldier fly farming? Do you know the rate at which you'll be producing the black soldier flies? Why are you just going into this without thinking about the risks, without thinking about the effect of that kind of feed on your birds? Someone, you've got to think about it like a business. You know, you don't do it as a hobby. You're thinking, doing black soldier flies, I think will, you know, cut on the costs. What's the impact of feeding your birds black soldier flies? Think about it like a business. Get information. Look for as much information as you need, and then you'll avoid making mistakes. If you do avoid making those mistakes, you'll become a millionaire. Finally, you've got to be willing to adapt. You've got to be willing to change with the times, and the way seasons change, just like everything changes. You've got to be able to move along, because if you don't, then you're going to be left behind. If, for example, in the area you stay in, you've been dealing in dairy cattle, so all you sell is milk, and the time comes that milk is moving really, really slowly. It's maybe 1 year, 2 years, milk is not moving 3 years. Come on, don't get stuck. If beef cattle are going to do better, switch to beef cattle, or if goats and sheep pick up, switch to the goats and sheep. You've got to be able to adapt. You've got to be able to change with the situations. You can't get stuck in tradition, because tradition is going to keep you behind. Tradition is going to kill you. So if you're ready to adapt and change with the moving situations and the changing times, then you'll be able to grow. And trust me, you'll become a millionaire. So that was it, guys. If you do follow those 5 points, these are points that I personally have lived with, and I see myself on the way there. If you do follow these points and, you know, adjust with them, check them out, think about them critically. Of course, that's not all. There is way more that can be done and way more that needs to be done in order for you to become a millionaire. So if you come across something new or important thing that you need to do, don't be like, hey, that's not part of Dr. Daniel's 5 points. No, they're not written in a book. This is from my experience. And if you do these things, you're going to make it really, really big. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell. Lots of love. Bye-bye.